Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch here. Today I'm bringing you guys another game for the Smogon Snake Draft between two of my good friends, Eo, Mortis, and Dice. These guys are really solid and experienced players, so I thought bringing this one would be a bit of a treat. I don't always get games of this quality most of the time, so I figured why the hell not? I had some time to kill. Eo is using a team with Weezing Galar over Clefable, which is always interesting, something that he tends to do. It's really good at punishing certain Pokemon that rely on their abilities, such as Regenerator, poisons. And honestly, in this game, it might also come and play against something like Clefable or Technician Scizor as well, so we'll have to keep that in mind. He also has Zarude, which, by the way, is something you see on both teams, which is pretty cool. His Steel type of choice in answer to some Pokemon like Kyurem, which unfortunately he's not going to be encountering here, and potentially Clefable, which he is encountering here. He's going to be Aegislash, and on top of that, he's also facing Kommo-o, Blissey, and he's using Kommo-o, Blissey, and Zeraora. Speaking of Zeraora, it's actually going to lead off the game by getting a knockoff into Gastrodon and then predicting it to scout out Toxic or Grass Knot and double knocking into Clefable, which is a really smart play by Eo. As for Dice, as I mentioned before, he's got a Zarude of his own on Clefable. Pair that with a Gastrodon, nice defensive pivot. It's going to do well against things like the Aegislash, potentially if it's a special variant, and also the Zeraora, coupled with Scizor as his Steel type of choice, Dragapult, and Rotom Heat. Overall, I really like both these teams. Dice's team in particular seems like it's got a lot of strong options to me. It does, however, run into a bit of an unfortunate matchup here, I'd say. Zarude is pretty useless against a combination of Weezing Galar and Kommo-o. And also, I don't know if any combined Clefable is going to do very well, so I'm hoping his Stealth Rock, and seeing as it's the only Stealth Rock on his team, he's probably going to get it off here. And yeah, he goes for that, and he actually doesn't go for that. No, he goes for a knockoff, but the Zeraora is going to do 47% with the Plasma Fist, leaving this Clefable easily in range of a follow-up Plasma Fist. This indicates a couple things to me. First and foremost, it's an Adamant Zeraora from Eo and Mortis, and second off, well, I think this is more of a physically defensive oriented Clefable, seeing as the Urshifu counterplay isn't great. Wicked Blow, you can at least resist with Zarude, with only his jungle healing, and close combat you could be immunized by the Dragapult, but again, it's not great. Not a great position for Dice, I'd say, if he's not running a physically defensive Clefable, so I'm assuming it's a bit more of a physically defensive Clefable, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Regardless of this, I feel as if... how do I put this? I feel as if the position for Dice is already pretty bad, as he took that Plasma Fist, and Eo making an aggressive switch out to Blissey, perhaps trying to get rocks up here, or get attack Toxic off into what was a very obvious Gastrodon here. Dice looks like his nicknames are spelling something out. H-E-T. Okay, well, we'll have to keep an eye on what that is. But regardless, I'd say Eo is definitely just the upper hand right now. He's, chipped the Gastrodon and is probably going to fear a Toxic here, and also the Blissey, the Clefable. So I wonder if he's going to go back to Clefable here. A, scouting for the Toxic and B, trying to heal up. He actually goes Dragapult. I don't like that at all, but it comes in on a teleport, so thankfully he's not going to mind taking any status, because it's not going to be taking any status there. That's probably going to invite in the Zeraora again, but if Dice is a plus speed Specs Dragapult, or a Wisp Dragapult with plus speed, then he should absolutely go for it here. As adamant damage has pretty much already been revealed. Yeah, just 30% with knockoff, so it looks as if Dice is not going to be of that nature, so he's going to go back to the Gastrodon here. And looking at this position, there's definitely going to be a recovery here for Dice, and we're going to see probably a Blissey or Zarude. Yeah. Oh, it's an Earth Power. Okay, I don't really understand that play. It makes it sort of Aegislash is a lot more problematic for Dice, but he goes for recovery here in the teleport, so looks like Eo is not Toxic, which... Oh, he didn't go for Toxic. I don't think he needs Toxic necessarily. He's got Kommo-o for Rotom Heat, but he really wants it for Volcarona, but he's not facing Volcarona, so that works. Zarude comes in here for Eo, and it actually looks pretty good against Dice's team. I wouldn't be shocked if it actually ends up winning the game, or at least forcing like a weird Zarude war, which favors Eo because Eo can go to Weezing Galar or Kommo-o at any point. So, yeah, for example, at +1, Power Up's going to 2-kill Clef, French going to 2-kill Scizor, and Scizor isn't running a bug move particularly often this generation. It actually is running Bullet Punch plus Knockoff plus Swords Dance plus Roost, so that absolutely favors the Eo side. He does have to watch out for Specs Dragapult, and Rotom Heat should live anything at +1 and fire off a strong Overheat in return. However, believe it or not, you can actually live an Overheat from full health if you're Zarude, depending on the situation, the EV spread, etc. Personally, I run some bulk on my Zarude. I don't really see much of a need to run max speed. And max attack helps. I run close to it, but yeah, it really depends. But I don't think you're necessarily going to risk that here if you're Eo, though. Yeah, anyway, we see a bulk appear as the Rotom Heat comes in, so that's reassuring for the Dice side. He's got the check here, but I wonder if Eo's going to play the game here. I personally think Eo just switches out here. I think that the play is absolutely to go to Kommo-o or to the Blissey. Personally, I think Blissey makes a little more sense, but Volt Switch, well, I guess you could go, what you could do is you could go to Blissey on the Overheat and then double the Zero Aura, because that'll potentially catch some other things, but regardless of that, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm thinking here, it's a really hard turn for Dice, because obviously Overheat's like the obvious like projected play, if you will, but if he goes for it and he loses momentum, yeah, like going for it in the combo, like now you let rocks up and you potentially lose, you get toxic, then you trade toxic wouldn't be the worst thing ever, I suppose. And yeah, we're gonna see rocks on a Volt Switch. Okay, so it's a faster combo out. Alright, and that's gonna invite in the Clefable presumably, unless it's an Iron Head variant, in which case, or a Taunt variant, in which case that's really good for EO, but I don't know that he'd go for that, so. Yeah, he goes Aegislash on what I'm assuming is going to be a soft build. Yeah, that's a great play from EO here. Aegislash is actually pretty threatening at this point because the... Oh no, the Gastron recovered the fall, never mind. I take it back. Whew, yeah, okay. So looking a bit deeper into this, I think at this point the play is just to go for a Steel move if you're EO. There's no real point in risking it. You just got to be careful with how you approach it, in all honesty, because if you go for a Steel move into the Rotom Heat or the Gastron, you're gonna get forced out, whereas if you go for a Ghost move in the Clef, and the Clef reveals itself to be knockoff, which it already has, and that's a bit unfortunate, but I suppose it's low risk, you should be able to live on knockoff even in the Blade form. Well, Zarude is the mid-ground there from Dice, and it's gonna be coming in on Shadow Ball. It's gonna see, no, definitely not Specs damage there. It's a bulky Aegislash. It might be a substitute plus Toxic Aegislash. That did very little though, that Shadow Ball, so definitely looking like a good position there to be in for EO. Yeah. We're going to see Rotom Heat come in now in a Weezing Galar double, so that's a great play there from Dice. Dice is definitely trying to take advantage of the position that he's in. Yeah, I'm thinking that's it. Weezing probably going to get out of the way here. I think that we could see a switch to something like the Blissey or the Como here. And from there, we'll have to wait and see what happens. This is kind of a passive early game, I'd say. We see the Zero Aura trying to come in an Electric Boom, and he actually catches the Volt Switch, which is a great play from EO there. Calling Dice, trying to take the advantage of the initiative that the position kind of gave him, if you will. Like, Weezing Galar is not a very specially bulky Pokemon, so therefore an Overheat or a Nasty Black could really threaten it. And EO took the initiative thinking, okay, Dice is going to predict me to switch out to one of my two Rotom Heat counters, my Como-O or my Blissey. So therefore, he's like, I'm going to go ahead and be one step ahead of that and go for my Zero Aura and the Volt Switches. It's already posing a big threat. Knockoffs are really chipping away at that Gastrodon. Even if it's Sticky Hold, it's not a Heavy Duty Boots variant, so it's taking Stealth Rock, which can get the initial turn leftovers. And now a double switch to the Zarude for EO, but Dice calls that on his own and goes to Clefable. And both these guys are just positioning masterminds. And I've come to admire the game that both play. And this turn definitely worked out for Dice here, but EO's not exactly on the back foot either. He could certainly go to the Aegislash, the Weezing Galar here, and not really worried too much. The issue is Aegislash has to watch out for being knocked off, so I don't know if that's necessarily the play. I wouldn't even be shocked if he stays and goes for Power Up here, and he does just that. It does 50, and it's going to be on a Stealth Rock. Wow, that's actually a great turn for EO there. So EO capitalizing on the greed of Dice, and Dice elected to greed up there, basically going for Stealth Rock when he didn't necessarily need to. And now we're going to see the Zarude Mirror here. Darkest Lair, it's going to only do 18% into that. I assume EO is predicting the Rotom Heat or the Scissor to come in there. So at this point, I wouldn't be shocked if EO switched just to like scout for a random U-turn. It really never ever runs U-turn. They're always bulk up jungle dealing. Yeah, EO does that, also knowing that he could get crit in a 1v1 potentially, and that allows Dice to go for the jungle dealing, heal himself up to 82%. But the Weezing Galar, of course, is going to be a massive problem for this Zarude, and now that it's in, it potentially spread status or do some passive damage there. Rotom Heat comes in. It's going to come in on a Sludge Bomb. It takes 22%, but no poison, so that's a really unfortunate turn there for Dice. Dice is going to get back into a bit of the driver's seat. I wonder if he's going to be conditioned into clicking Overheat here, or if he's going to go for the Volt Switch once more, knowing that EO is probably not going to go to Zero Aura, especially now it's at full health. Not wanting to compromise that position, if you will. So yeah, I guess I'll have to wait and see. I definitely think that EO is still in the driver's seat here. As he goes to that Blissey on the Overheat, I don't even see a need to go back to Zero Aura here in the Volt Switch. As he's in the driver's seat, he could just go and heal this up, not risking anything later on against a Dragapult or the Rotom Heat if it's a Nasty Plot variant. Although I think it'd probably Toxic last, so yeah. Again, we're going to have to wait and see. what he's going for. Well, it's going to be a pain split, which does help the Rotom Heat a little bit, but Blissey gets a teleport out, and now this is a -2 Rotom Heat, which is basically prey for anything on EO's team to come in and take advantage of. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see how they approach this. So from this point, I think that the play could be Zeraora. Just go for another knock. Continue to whittle down that Gastrodon, which it might eventually run out of recovers, but I don't love that long-term play as EO. What I think I love the most about it, though, is that forcing recovers with Gastrodon invites the Zarude in every time, and the Zarude is what the true threat to Dice's team is. As in, look here, if you get a knockoff on this Rotom Heat, then all of a sudden Zarude's even more menacing. But regardless of that, every time he comes in, it's going to be forcing a lot of pressure. The only real countermeasure to Zarude that Dice currently has would be either a U-turn Scissor, which I'm starting to doubt it would be. And if he goes close combat, that's actually well, I guess I just spoke that into existence. That's going to leave the Gastrodon at 31%, and all of a sudden, the Zeraora is a huge threat to Dice's team. He has got a gigantic lead at this point. I can't imagine him going for anything besides just another close combat here. I'm not sure if Dice is going to try and throw this out, or if he's going to try and work some mid-ground to go Scizor here, for example, and then, with the -2 defense, potentially try and get a Bullet Punches off. But the issue is that he's still resistant. Plasma Fist still kills this, so I don't really know what Dice's line of play here is. I feel like Dice is like multiple steps behind at this point, and I think that EO should just go for that Plasma Fist, knowing full well that he'll live, though even a Choice Band Bullet Punch from this range of health, because he's only -2, not like -5 or some crap like that. And yeah, now Gastrodon comes back in here, but what was but it took rocks and gained, like, what? What are we doing? I'm not sure I understand this. Well, either way, close combats have been fired off, and now ultimately the Clefable seems like it's being fired, I guess. I'm not really too sure what to make of this, in all honesty. But hey, here we are. Well, whatever the situation may be, Scizor is going to go down without even getting a Ball Punch off, as well as the Clefable is going down. I don't really understand this line of play from Dice. I feel like the Rotom Heat could have been integrated into this position at some point, but I digress. The Zarude might be able to live a close combat here, but at that point it's going to barely be alive. I'd imagine that EO preserves this and he goes for the Volt Switch here, so I don't see any reason for him to risk a potential roll, although he is adamant, so I wouldn't be shocked if Adamant Close Combat like always kills the standard Zarude spread, but from that Shadow Ball damage before, yeah, it was really bulky, so. But Dice just went for the ball. Oh my god, this game's over. Well, EO, I feel like that was actually an unnecessary play from EO there, but it worked out, so. Miscalc? Oh, it's got 4, oh, whatever. EO miscalculated there, it seems. But it actually worked out in his favor, as Dice rightfully predicted the Volt Switch, which was the correct play in my eyes, but it was kind of lopsided affair, regardless of the fact. Dragapult's going to come in here, and it might be able to live a knockoff. It might even be quicker, but I mean, at this point, the game's looking pretty over. I can't imagine Dice comes back in this one, unfortunately, for his team, which is, I believe, the Typins. The Typins, and EO is on the Linworms. The Linworms actually are in first place. They've been doing really well thus far, so major props to them and their preparations. It seems like they've been working out quite a bit thus far. EO's going to get a defog off, which actually might help Dice's Gastrodon just a little bit, as it's able to get leftover spawn switch in, but that'll be short-lived, as the Blissey can come in here, heal up, and then eventually that Como can get the rocks up himself, and it looks as if EO kind of has him cornered. I mean, there's no way out at this point. Weezing comes in on the Will-O-Wisp. I'm not really sure about that. I guess it's fine, as it misses, and then the follow-up one misses, while EO connects with his, and I mean, at this point, it's looking kind of over. Sludge Bomb's probably going to be play here. It's going to start chipping that down. It does a nice 19% there. And while Hex is going to do a number to Weezing Galar, the Weezing Galar is of no use whatsoever to EO. As he just continues to go Sludge Bomb. Painful would have been a fine play as well, but A, we don't know if he has it, and B, no point risking any shenanigans. He's near full health. You don't want to heal up the Gastrodon. Yeah, so that made a lot of sense, actually. We now see the Blissey come in here now. Blissey maybe goes Teleport. I wouldn't be shocked. I just go soft, but okay, so let the Gastrodon heal up, but he might have a status move like Toxic. No, he just goes Teleport. That's going to invite into Zarude. Yeah, it's all the same. The game's over. So it looks like EO is going to emerge victorious. Eventually, he goes Como to get rocks up first, I suppose. Oh, it's Toxic Como. That works too, yeah. But at this point, EO, I believe, is going to advance to what I think is 6-1. Dice is going to fall to what I believe is 0-4. rough tour for Dice. Started off with me and played some really other strong opponents, and now of course EO is also one of the best players in the field. So I'm just not the best tour for him. It's not really his fault either. So yeah, no, major props to EO though. Brought a really cool team. I always love seeing Weezing Galar in action, and was able to, of course, succeed while piloting it. So yeah, we're just waiting for the final turns to run out. EO's just making sure he plays it as safe as possible because he's really good at maximizing odds in end games. I've really seldom noticed EO playing errantly in the later stages of games, and I think that's one of the things that really makes him stand out in this field. Is a lot of people might be able to get sloppy, especially in more drawn out games, which this tier is absolutely conducive of. So yeah, we're seeing just some momentum oriented plays, but Dice has no way to capitalize on this momentum. He has no real threats to what EO has remaining, the 5 Pokemon left, and I think that about sums up what the position is here. Volt Switch there is going to invite in what I assume to be the Dragapult to go for. It'll probably be Dragon Darts or a Hex, but Dragon Darts is hurt by Burn. He's taking Burn damage every turn, and there's no sign of recovery. And, I mean, Blissey is taking under 20% from the Dragon Darts out of his Burn. So, yeah, the Burn pretty much ends it. Now we finally see Zeraora come right back in here on Rotom Heat. He'll be able to easily stomach an Overheat, but he Volt Switches to bait the Overheat, and he's probably going to go back to Blissey. It actually doesn't have a Volt Switch. Okay, so Dice called that, and now they're just toying with me. This is going to take forever, isn't it? I'm trying to finish this game and go back up to my fam, but it's chill. It's chill. We see sides with us there. Overheat now predicting 0. Why not? It's off build here. Now we're going to see a Pain Split here from Dice, or switch to Gastrodon. Okay, on a Como. Como can finally get up rocks here, I guess, if he wants to. Or, just continue just messing around. He does continue to mess around. He goes to the Zarude and the Scald, and it doesn't really matter, but yeah, I think this will end it here. I'm assuming he'll end it here. He goes bulk up on what might be a clear Smog. Yeah, I just think you just go for Power Hip here, buddy. Well, he goes Rotom Heat, so Jungle Healing. Okay, this game is just going to take forever, isn't it? It's good been over 20 turns to go. But I digress. Anyway, it looks as if this game is kind of won. Sorry, I just don't really have much to say. I don't know the score of this series, unfortunately. The Type-In series is pretty close, I believe. But looks like good games can be put down in the chat, so maybe it's going to be like, okay, whatever, who cares? We see Gastron here, teleport, Dice 4. Okay, there we go. So the game ends. It's 5-0 and 61 turns for EO. More congratulations to my friend EO for winning, and Dice, good effort, but maybe next time. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you guys are enjoying the channel, definitely check out my Twitter. I just made it earlier this week. A lot of fun stuff going on there, and I think that's about it. Alright, peace guys, bye.